Ready? Well, welcome everyone to tonight's Cave Springs Planning Commission work session. We've got a few items on the agenda, and what I'm going to do is, in efforts of managing everybody's time better, who's here? So our first item to discuss is SD 2026-06, which is for Foxwood Estates, site development plan. All right. That's where we'll jump in. This is for property located at 579 Ford Lane. Parcel ID 0510036000. About 25 acres. So last work session, we passed some information along with your colleagues.
That's correct, yeah. We weren't ready to come back for the Planning Commission meeting last time around, so we requested it to be tabled. I believe most of the discussion last time, what was conveyed to me, were questions about the side path or trail along Ford Lane. And then, was that the bulk of it, or was there more specific comments outside of that?
There were more specific comments outside of that. Part of it was for the offsite improvements for drainage. So there was notations on there on the north side.
Oh, yeah.
And then where it had to run to
Yes.
on the southwest corner
Yep.
or southwest side
Sure.
of the property.
So
Other comments related to
East and West Trail connection
east and west trail connection,
and landscaping.
landscape, and then there was no, that's different parts. This were turkey houses. Okay. Then there was some things on the street improvements on where that taper could work out that's adjacent to the properties. Where the street
To the north,
To the
one
north.
church's existing curb.
Yeah, so there was, rather than have that hard kind of transition
on the north side,
on the north side, that could be lessened. That was a question.
just
Especially since
soften the taper.
Soften the taper.
Okay.
Especially since there was off-site improvements that were being proposed.
So don't bring it any further south, but soften the taper north and go further offsite to the north. Okay.
Especially, and what brought that question about was the off-site improvements for drainage that was going to occur already.
Sure.
What was being indicated.
Yeah, so on the drainage comment, all the water is currently coming from the church's property through our site to the discharge location on the southwest side of the site. We looked at some different options on how to convey that water through our site and thought it worked best with the street stuff we have on the north-south if we did some off-site draining work. That easement has not been obtained yet, but we are working on getting that. There's conversations with the church happening now to iron that out, and basically what we would be looking for is a permanent drainage easement around the storm sewer that's subbed out onto that property, and then temporary construction easement to grade the kind of the larger swale area through there to convey that water through. So we will document that before moving forward with construction plans on it. Obviously, once the agreement has been worked out and how that work will take place. And if we aren't able to come to an agreement on it, then we'll revise our drainage plan to not show the work offsite.
Okay.
On the north-south trail, that one is on the master street plan, adjacent to Ford Lane, correct? On our side?
It's
I think the comment was it doesn't designate which side of the road what we discussed, it just shows the trail on
There's no trail that has been built along Ford today, correct? It's just
There
a
is.
sidewalk? There isn't?
it. There is, yeah, we had trails on the east side.
Okay.
There's two existing, third proposed, the only one that has developed that doesn't have trails is Brentwood.
Brentwood's what I was thinking of, so.
Yeah, I think they have enough room, but they also don't have a sidewalk, yeah, they didn't put any inside.
That's what.
That would be on the city to finish that.
So, is the comment or the question to put trail on our side or to do something different so the trail could be built across the street on the east side being aligned with the rest.
That was from the planning commission, so I'm gonna let y'all.
Yeah, so the question is how do we get that connectivity there
Sure.
sooner than later? And if the sidewalk is already going on your site, I don't recall what the width of that sidewalk was.
Be 5 feet.
So, and it was, what, the other trail is 10?
Or was it 10 or 12?
So, the question was that we were working through was putting the rest of it there and making a crossover to get that connectivity.
Who would be responsible for crossing the street?
Great question. And
Well, I think that one talked about it being within the subdivision, right? The trail.
well, that was the east-west. Now that we're trying, because we were looking at the east-west and then we got the north-south. There were questions on how to get the north-south and make the connection to the east-west.
We're south, their property, pretty wide by the church.
Yes, it is in Brentwood, and we believe has enough room, again, to be connectivity there. But if we're going to get the east-west connection going through there, then you're gonna have to cross anyway, right? So that it is on that, on your side, then that's gonna help facilitate that east-west connectivity.
Is the east-west one required by the master street plan? Okay. Is it just adjacent to the collector that's proposed there? Or that was
I think
proposed?
those.
No,
They showed them around different properties.
The collector is further south.
Yeah.
That was all discussion right there. So the trail is off the collector or it's to the north of the border.
To make that connection.
And then there's sheds.
Yeah, that's further, that's further down. Yeah, it's, again, walking through questions that are asked, this was, provoking thought of how we do that.
I think it would be
Make
better
that
on the
connection.
west because you're already widened. You would be going much further, I think, on the west side than you would be on the east side. Because he's right next to the church, which in front of the church is already very wide. Because of everything.
Well, Redwood has enough room for the capital improvement projects, but the trail right there. And if I'm not mistaken, the Summerlin Village project is putting a trail on their side, you know, with their widening of the road. And then after, you know, you say Brentwood, then you get into the, like, 4 or 5 lots that, once you get Hillcrest has the trail, then you have the next proposed development that will put in the trail. So essentially, most of it already put that one.
Is on the east.
Is any of that north of 264?
No.
There's no trail. No.
There will be, we have to say, real much there.
And that one's on the east side of 264 as well, right? Yeah. It's like the majority of it's on that side.
I know riding through Springdale, using their existing road to put in the bike trail, it does jump back and forth sometimes. You know.
What
It's
we,
not a problem.
what was discussed was that's what's indicated as street B. It would be the suggested way to get across east-west connectivity.
Across forward.
What, across the subdivision is
Right.
proposed, yeah. That, to get you across to there, and
If the east-west connection's on the master street plan, I think we can find spot to put it that'll make sense. And I'm not as concerned about that portion. We can control the whole thing. But on the north-south stretch, if most of that's developing on the east side, I think the bigger thing that I wouldn't want the developer to be responsible for is how to get people safely across Ford and connecting all of that. If they're only crossing onto ours and then back across ours, so go further north on the east side of the road.
Well, they wouldn't be crossing on the north side, just for nothing to cross.
Sure. Until there would be something there, yeah. Because in order to get someone safely across Ford Lane, I think you'd have to do some sort of at least RFB, the flashing beacons. Maybe if it had high enough traffic counts, you'd want a hawk signal or something, but some sort of signalized crossing or flashing crossing for vehicles to be notified of the pedestrian crossing the road.
I think there's also questions about on Ford, the existing water main,
Yes, sir.
about abandonment or redoing.
Yeah, we're going to relocate it basically. So we'll lay behind the right of way right there, our proposed right of way. We'll lay a new water line back there, and then before the existing water line gets abandoned, we'll tap onto it on the north side and the south side, install some isolation valves, and then abandon that water line in place. And that'll be coordinated with the city's utility department.
And on your west side, isn't that where Rogers Waters has an easement coming through? Between you and, I think that's the same as mine?
The west side of our site,
Yes.
Yes.
we have there's a 17-foot easement in favor of Carroll Electric on the west side, but I'm not showing a Rogers Water easement.
It's something that's an active project that we're gonna have somebody on.
Are they in an easement acquisition right now?
Yeah, I think it might be all on the sands, but it is, there is something going on back there, she's correct.
Rogers Water.
For this property, we may be all on the sands, though.
I thought it was on both of them, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, but it wasn't sure.
It's just a thought, as they're working with the church, there might be something there that you need to know too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any Rogers Water easements on the property, but I'll ask the developer if they've been contacted.
So they've been actively talking to people out there for 6 months, like Sandra? Yeah.
But I don't think the offsite drainage is not a concern to us unless there's any particular questions that you have related to that. It's all going to be worked out with the church prior to moving forward with construction. We'll provide the landscape plan with the resubmittal, confident in that. We've already talked to our landscape team on it. I think, like I said, I'll look into the east-west trail and where that makes the most sense. And then I think my preference would be the north-south trail stays on the east side unless there's direction otherwise, and we'll have to figure it out. I think the taper, we can work on softening that to the north. That shouldn't be a problem either.
Yeah. Adam had a few questions when I spoke with him, but I don't know if he's communicated those questions.
I mean, they've gotten,
Adam Osweiler?
Yes.
Yes, we've gotten the
Yeah.
comments.
Okay.
We've been working through those. I think we've got them all addressed and ready for a resubmittal, barring one small question that we need to have a conversation with them about, and then there's one more question for the utility department on the force main requirements. That's it. And we'll be ready for a resubmittal after that. Hope to have it resubmitted prior to the next planning commission. Be ready to talk about it.
Okay. Planning Commission, do you have any additional comments?
What will I guess, the process for the decision on the north-south trail, how does that get solidified, whether we have to do it or not?
Great question. A few weeks ago, what was, was more provoking thought of how we get this trail moving forward and how that east-west connection comes into play. What does that look like? We did talk about how do we get people across the street safely, what that looks like. But then further question came into, okay, we believe Brentwood has enough space, and you have that 7 acres that's developing right there at the corner of Ford and 264 East Lowell Avenue versus the church. Where does it go? If it moved towards the church side, then it would make sense that it picks up on where this project is at.
Sure.
If it goes back on the other side, well, then that's 2 crossings, which is not what we want.
Right.
So that's kind of where the deliberation was hanging.
Okay.
Where does this specifically go? The active transportation plan doesn't exactly dictate where it goes, it just indicates that it's a
There is
line.
one.
So I think there's more discussion about how that might work.
Okay.
I don't know that any of us have the answer tonight, but I believe that's one of those things. You look at it, reflect on it, your team. We look at it, reflect on it, see what we can come together on.
Okay.
The church is potentially looking at some future expansion work too. In reality, there's an opportunity there that the trail will continue north and then shoot back over at the Summerlin Village area and cross it there. I just know they're looking at they've got 2 buildings right now, but one of the bus barn building and renovating another one, and they're potentially looking at a whole other building and civilian facilities. So.
Well, if you look at our active transportation plan, it goes across Lowell Avenue down Rainbow.
Yes.
And as we
Right now, we set that up on the east side also.
sorry,
And so we set it up on the east side,
well, there's Ridgewood
except for Richmond.
that's sitting there. So what we have is there enough room to make that all go together? But you have undeveloped property that's on the west, but if something happens with that, that's where it would set. These are the deliberations we've been having.
Besides Hillcrest, where did you say the other section is? That's
That's it.
existing? Or
Currently, the only one that's existing
is Hillcrest? Okay.
yeah, the parcel adjacent to 264
Is that-
south of Hillcrest is the
Okay.
And then on the other side of 264, right after the Ridgewood 40 acres, there's a 40-acre parcel, and it'll pick up there right after Ridgewood.
Right.
And I personally believe Ridgewood has enough for it to go outside there. So there's a lot of room there.
Okay. Yeah, we get involved in a lot of active transportation projects. I've got some team members on staff back at the office that I can get to weigh in on, and I'm happy to, like you said, reflect on it and offer some opinions of best path forward for you all.
Marvelous.
All right.
All right. You have any questions?
I don't think so. Barring actually submitting the landscape plan and showing some of these other things, are there other items, like do we have to be fully through McClellan's review to get planning commission approval, or can that still be conditioned upon getting that review done?
We have to have a certain level of comfort
From the college?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will want a resubmittal, and we'll want to at least see comments back from them,
Right.
and then at that point, depending on the level of comfort with the planning commission, we get eventual conditional approval.
Okay. We'll work. I'll probably give them a call then tomorrow and just see. This is 2 weeks till planning commission. I don't know if they can get a review done.
I think with 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
July 6th,
That's right. 3 weeks. So yeah, maybe we can get something in this week and give them 2 weeks to at least get a gut check on it before the next meeting, and then make a decision at that one whether it needs to go one more cycle or not. So I'm good with that. All right,
Okay.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Is anyone here related to BZA 2026-02 for a variance request for the Hayden Revocable Trust? Is anyone here for that one? We'll move that one down and come back to that. Is anyone here for SD 2026-07 for a lot line adjustment for Ashley Circle and the Bay subdivision? All right, we'll come back to that one. Is anyone here for rezoning RZ 2026-04 for the Hardens located at 550 North Main Street? All right, we'll come back to that one. All right, so we have a general discussion topic for Mortensen Simpson Trust for property located at 2625 North Main Street. If I understand correctly, 2 parcels, approximately 48 acres along the east side of Highway 112, North Main Street. Dave, talk through what your side of the development, what this is?
Well, I mean, we haven't had anything officially submitted yet, just a request for discussion. So, kind of just skim through the packet, you can see the area. We have had a in-person discussion about this, I will say, maybe a month ago. And kind of looked through general ideas for what they were wanting to do with there. But they've got a conceptual, I think it's the last page that they sent me, I attached to that, but realistically, I would say it's up to the applicant to ask all questions and see how you feel about what they have proposed.
Dave, I have a presentation,
Do you?
if that helps.
That's fine. Yeah. You want to get the stand? You'll stretch that more. Yes.
Remember which one they did last?
Try to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Plug it in.
Okay. So what we wanted to do today was just kind of introduce you to the community and get a list of questions. What we provided you with is an early draft of our PZD document. And then, oh, sorry, I should know better. A couple of maps, a concept plan, and then a planning area plan, and then we have a plan that shows our preserved area on site. So, So I'll just run through this quickly, introduce it, and then I can answer any questions that you guys have and go through the packet.
Okay.
Okay. So we will eventually be submitting a PZD rezoning for this. It's 57 single-family homes on a total of 47.6 acres with a commercial component along Highway 112. This is the general location here, and then zoomed in to show you the exact parcels. And then this is our concept plan, so you can see the purple planting area there is our commercial area. The green is preserved space, so undeveloped space. And then the gray is 2 different residential lot sizes. Right, we have in our PZD a minimum of a 75-foot lot, but these lots are all about 90 by 140 or more, or bigger. So we're looking at, kind of at the top of your screen would be Highway 112, and to the left would be north.
But will you back up one slide for me, please? I just wanted to make sure I knew. Okay, that's where I thought that's where it was. I just wanted to confirm where it was setting, the property was setting. Okay.
So kind of like if you twisted it, that would be north would be. Okay, and then this is our preserved area here. And one of the things that you'll see there is about 70 to 100-foot buffer between the residential and the commercial, future commercial parcels. We would not be developing those commercial parcels, those would be future development, but we do have in our PZD commercial design standards, so colors, material percentages, things like that, that can give you an idea of the type of commercial that we would hope to see there. And then one of the things that we're focused here on, it's a beautiful site. There's a creek that bisects the site, so we're focused on creek preservation there. There's quite a bit of development around the site. And so, you know, on the site now, there's this really deep creek bank that has the potential to be a really cool amenity right through the middle of the community. And our goal is to preserve as much of that as we can, install a pedestrian bridge, and then hopefully utilize the volume of water that's coming across from other developments to the site and create an amenity with it there. There's a number of amazing trees on the site too that we'd like to preserve as much as we can. So you can kind of see here that we've left as much of the site as we can undisturbed. Yeah. And then this is our community concept. So again, you know, there is some topo on the site. We imagine that there'll be a number of homes that have retaining walls, retaining wall backyards, where we'll utilize natural stone. And so the home you see here is a concept that we could see working on the site. And then some ideas of what we would hope to build there. You can see the pedestrian bridge. And then that's it.
I have a question, I'm a little confused. What I'm reading here says it's on the east side of Highway 112, but when I look at your map,
It is on the west side.
oh,
Did I put each side of the tree?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
this confuses me.
All right.
I feel better, thanks.
And I can pull up, like, if you want to look at, like, GIS mapping, I can pull that up too if it would help you guys, like, kind of conceptualize where it is. We've got,
I know where it is.
okay.
They've got more than mine exhibit, but with base map having changed its colors for the cities, it's very hard for the case base color to see anything through now. It changes to the dark green, like that's not me, that's the best. Yeah, instead of like the light tan color where it used to be with this other funky color. Let it show up.
A couple of things that I'd point out is we've added cross connectivity both to the north and south. I imagine with the Main Street improvements that are coming through that they're going to be future development on the north and south sides of this. You can't really see it here, but if you look in your packet, you'll have our most up-to-date concept plan, and that shows connectivity to the south and to the north.
I can see it.
Huh.
Okay, I can see it.
Do you have a...
So the left hand is really that's north.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it says North Main Street is 112.
Right.
Yeah, so that's running. That's about exactly where it says it.
Yeah. What we would probably do is leave the one to the north as future right of way, and then pave the one to the south.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we would for the cross connectivity, we'd probably leave the north connection as future right of way, but the south connection we'd probably go ahead and build with all of our streets. The green space, yeah. It would, the right of way would be dedicated, but it would be built in the future. And that's up to you guys too. If you wanted us to build it out, we could. I just think it probably is more likely that the southern parcels will be utilized before the northern parcel.
Well, what is the phase? Is there phasing on this?
We don't intend to phase the residential portion at this time. The commercial portions would be future development.
So essentially phased in their own time, as they say.
So did I see that right? 8,500 square feet was the lot sizes?
The minimum lot size for type, I believe it's type A lots, and then there's type B lots, which are a little bit bigger. If you look at the exhibit, the colorized exhibit, it shows you the bigger lots are in pink, that's the type B, and then blue, the gray is the type A.
There's 6, 7 maybe that are over an acre, and numerous that are about a half acre, and some of them are a third of an acre. It's beautiful acres.
And the green space, the commercial and residential buffer, that'll be maintained by the community HOA, so that would be always maintained by the residential community and owned by the residential community. So you can count on that being taken care of into the future, maintenance-wise. And we do have, I mean, I'm sure y'all have probably seen it too, but we do have the plans for the Main Street improvements there that we can share at the community, at the front of the community, and how that'll look.
So you're proposing a PZD for this.
Yes.
Have you drafted anything for the PZD at this point in time? Any language for that?
Yes, that's this one.
I didn't get a copy.
I didn't know what you were.
I don't believe you Lisa an additional copy? Did you give her?
I don't have
No.
these. I don't have anything to hand out.
Okay.
No, everything that I have, you got on the last two pages. It's not an official still, it's been a discussion.
Take a look at mine too, I can email this to you, David.
So 40 is 47 of them are type A, about 10 of them type B. David, none of this is in cars, it's all going in cars.
It is not in the Carter Church area.
All right. I didn't double check it, this was something that was a late edition, but no, I don't know.
It's not.
This is in the website.
I double checked it.
Oh,
I'm haunted by the cave
Well,
fish,
you-
so I always check.
well, you got plenty of, so, topographic and water issues.
Mhm.
So, less than we need storage.
We try to minimize impacts to the potentially jurisdictional wetlands as well. We have a jurisdictional determination being done right now, so we'll see what we end up having, but hopefully that'll be minimized. We do have two separate street sections in there as well, that could potentially be utilized, and that's something that, you know, we would love you guys to, weigh in on once you've had a chance to review everything. We have a more rural street section for the larger lots in the back, and then a more standard street section, closer to the front. And then when we move forward, if we're able to move forward with the PZD, the services for the commercial will be provided and installed at the same time. So we'll have water and sewer stub outs to all of the commercial parcels when we final plat the residential section. So it's not a situation where we're like, hey, maybe we'll eventually develop this as commercial property. We'll have driveways installed and service extensions to all three of the parcels there.
What exactly is the creek in comparison to, or adjacent to your, on the map here?
So if you kind of follow this one, that blue line right there is the green. So on movers, it's kind of, it starts here and then it comes down here. It's a pretty deep creek bank, but it doesn't, it's a thermal, it doesn't hold water. But our hope would be able to restore it somewhat. There's going to be a lot more water coming across there. I think as some of these upstream parcels get developed too, so hopefully we can utilize that.
I wondered where it was coming from, since you're further north than.
There's not a lot coming through there right now, but we're anticipating more volume as more neighborhoods get developed, so that's our hope. I mean, it's like, some places it's like taller than me, the creek bank. So at some point, before the watershed got fractured, like there was a ton of water coming through it. Well, not that there is one. So like, at some point there was probably a lot of water coming through, but
Yeah, I'm sure it was storm, I'm sure.
We will have to impact too, this secondary stream that's coming in, we're gonna have to realign that one a little bit too. So we probably have a pond like right there where those two meet. We'll have to create a pond, because the bank on the smaller stream is gonna compromise as well, so.
On the backside of that.
On the backside, yeah. I'm talking about right here. On the property line.
On the far right.
Yes.
I was looking at that, and it's only-
Yeah, to the intersection to the north. Yeah.
Is there a station in this, on this number of houses?
I don't think they need to, I think it'll directly down to the work station, down by the daycare
Yeah.
academy. That was not Mobius, is it? Mobius? Is that Mobius?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one down there that's Rogers, but there's gonna be things that have to be looked into, like capacity wise and things, but I don't know if there's any.
Yeah, 'cause this is directly west, not far from that. Right? Is that where you're talking about?
No. This is, north of Pleasant Road Road. I mean, you're right, it is west of that, but they're going to gravitate south to the lift station that Roger put in that pushes over to their treatment plant.
That's right along Axton.
Yeah, and we've met with Rogers Water, we've met with the city, we've met with McClellan, and we've had a couple of meetings, to make sure that there was capacity. We made sure that, if we had to upgrade pumps on the lift, we would do that. It doesn't appear that we have to do that right now with this minimal number of homes. But we've met with them quite a few times now to make sure that we weren't gonna have any issues, with sewer capacity or access.
What's the minimum square foot of home?
Generally, I don't remember exactly what we had it in here, but for us, it would probably be 3,000 square feet. I mean, I don't know that we have a minimum square footage in here, but we can add that.
David, minimum height 40, or maximum not to exceed 45 feet height on the structure.
It's taller than
That's
what.
taller than what code is.
Yeah, we would have to go with the fire department and get their blessing on that. I mean, depends on when some of these are coming online. We are getting a new ladder truck. I don't know, the timeline on that, probably within 2 years. I think we've allocated the funds for it. I mean, I think they're working on it.
Yeah, it takes like 5 years to build.
Yeah.
3 years, and they've already ordered it. It's
Yes.
a done deal. It's just time now.
Yeah.
I want to say about 2 years out.
Kind of my thoughts. But that's something that is definitely worth discussing with the fire department.
And I think we added a little bit more height than we normally would because some of these could potentially be walkout basements due to the topography on site, particularly in the back there, on the side of the hill. And so that's something that we could talk to the fire marshal about too. Like, where does he want to see that height measured from? Is it from the curb or is it from the base of the foundation? So I don't remember the fire code off the top.
I may be wrong, but I thought it was from curb.
I agree with him.
And
So I
so,
think that's where we do the basic from is, because that's where the truck has to be.
Right,
And it's
right.
based on where the truck sits. So if it doesn't read like that, I still think there's some capacity in there to make it read like that, then it needs to be done.
And we can change that language if we need to make it more clear, like from the curb height.
Explain this one, just talk me through this. And where front porches are provided, they shall be permitted to encroach a maximum 8 foot into the front setback line. The front setbacks are 25 feet on R3 zoning, I believe.
I think that's what we have. We have 25
What about
feet.
feet everywhere, basically, for residential zone?
If the lot depths are 140 feet minimum, why would we let the front porch encroach 8 feet into the setback?
We don't have to. It's usually an effort to give the property a little bit more backyard, but if you'd like to keep the porches completely out of the setback, we can do that too.
And we're talking like a covered front porch?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Not like a slab.
Slab.
Yeah. I mean, the price point for these homes is projected to start at like 1.1, 1.2 million, so it wouldn't be like a slab patio type thing.
But if it's covered, it's roof and all, and it's gonna encroach into the setback, and the setback's essentially gonna be 17.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah, I got it.
That's a good point.
Just curiosity, you have one lot that is, did you say it's 2 acres or 1 acre?
We have a couple that are close to an acre.
Any special reason?
Just because we want to be able to diversify lot size. This back corner, like if you go out to the site where you see the pink lots, it sits up on a hill and it's really pretty, and they're not going to really have anything behind them, so it's just to create a larger estate lot back there.
I like the creativity for sure. I just wondered if there was anything besides just being creative.
We do have an adjacent property. Those lots are the ones that are closest to the adjacent property, and so just kind of giving them a little bit more depth too, and a little bit of a larger lot. We do have some easements on the property. So on the west side is the trunk line for the city of Bentonville, their water line. So they have an easement there for the water line and for access. Then there is a sewer line going through. That's that kind of squiggly one that goes north to south.
And that's on the west side?
Mm-hmm.
What's the easement that cuts through lots 24, 25, 26?
So what's the variable width utility easement?
Yeah.
Okay, I was having trouble reading that on this
So-
green on green.
Yeah, it was an old Buffington easement. So when we did Evening Star, we weren't exactly sure where the sewer line was going to go at the time, and so we had kind of a larger variable width once we did our construction plans to define the easement. So that easement will be vacated with the final plat. The sewer line easement, like that one that kind of jogs, that's where the actual sewer line is with the easement around it.
Okay, so that's the as-built.
Yes, that's the as-built. So the other one it won't. I mean, we can vacate if we need to, but we probably will just because it goes through those lots.
That's what that was my concern.
Yeah.
Part of it's in the green space, part of it hits those 3 lots.
Yeah.
So in here, in the residential planning area, you have that the maximum lot coverage should be 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Do you anticipate these homes having that high of a coverage? Since
Probably not quite that big. And we're happy to navigate that if you guys want to decrease it, however you want to do that. We can also provide a lot that shows you like what our biggest plan would look like on site, and then we can estimate what that coverage is, and that may be a better way to do it. We're in kind of early design now, so we wanted to leave it a little open, but if we want to narrow it down, we can define it by what our largest home size is. We have, a base home, and then we have multiple structural options that can be added to it, so we can figure out what our max coverage would be and change it to that if we need to.
so most of those are 35% maximum.
Yeah, and so you said that, so that's the type A home, right? Maximum lot coverage shall be 50% of the main structures and accessory. Type A's are the B, right?
We're also doing a flood study, so we'll have that, and then, like I said, getting our jurisdictional determinations done. There's no real mapping here right now. That's something we definitely want to do. Do y'all require that? The flood study? Then we're doing it anyway, but I didn't know at what point you would require it.
It's not before the period or not to say it's not part of the period.
Mm-hmm.
Regs in the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Water. Water. Kind of goes to like site rating.
Mm-hmm.
Water, full site rating, something like
I like to know, so I usually do it anyway, but that there's no mapping, current mapping on site, but. And I'll send you this whole packet so David can send it out to all of you guys.
That would be great.
I'd like to see it too.
Well, I'd like to reflect on it.
It seems like there are changes. Is it per PCD or is it per?
It's each one is its own. Each one's different. So it's really going to depend on what we see for that area, right? What you think, what may not be fit. And if there are things on there that you say, hey, maybe we should exclude this, and this is why. Or maybe we should, conversely, maybe we should include this, but this is why. It's in the schedule of uses for each one of our zoning districts as their schedule of uses. So we should be reflecting on it, assuming that's been.
Like when here there's a bar, I'm okay with a bar or,
Well, again, it goes back to the language of what is allowed by right in our current zoning districts, and then what is being proposed here. This is its own zoning proposal. So if they can schedule, just want to.
Within. if someone wants to put something in there and they're not real sure, it's like, well, they set it up as easy where if that condition approved, they'd have to come back to, planning council. Some of them listed that with their commercials.
We based it on C2, and then we provided, so basically said all uses allowed by right in C2 with, without these exclusions. So we did some additional exclusions to C2, and then some additional conditional use permits. So like something like a bar, something that's going to be high traffic and potentially a little bit louder, we felt like putting that under the CUP category might be a better idea, so that y'all had some oversight there.
Yes.
The other sheet,
Yeah. That's kind of
That's a commercial area.
yeah. Well, it's commercial, but it's really set up more like paint on. Where it was almost more like it was intended to be. Well, yes, but instead of being more like a contractor office space, almost like light industrial or warehouse type of
very similar to
zoning.
what's happening just now.
Down here against the pavement property. But similar to that, people are looking for affordable places and, they have the purpose.
It's nice.
On the commercial design standards in the PZU, it says that a minimum of 75% of the wall surface shall be composed of a maximum of 3 primary materials. When you list primary materials, there's a whole bunch more listed. Are 3 of those supposed to be the front ones, or?
I think you can choose 3 of those.
Okay, because theoretically, aluminum composite material would be 75% of it.
That's fair, yeah. We can dig into that a little bit more. And we can also, we can add different percentages, we can exclude materials. We can definitely look at that and take, whatever suggestions that you guys
I
have.
realize this is preliminary, but I
Mhm.
would say it's one of the better written ones that we've seen in a while, so.
Sure, we had the residential one somewhere else.
This is different, it's different this time period.
Is there anything in there about the parking requirements on commercial or residential on the
Yes.
side? I know that's something we looked at in the development code, and we actually created some requirements for rear parking and things like that, pushing the buildings out. And each one of these are big enough, and essentially your plan is, you're not accommodating their water, right?
I'm sorry.
The plan for the commercial spaces, like you're not, with the entire site development plan accommodating potential water for those, they're still big enough, like they're gonna have to accommodate them.
They would have to come through for like a site development plan.
But like if they need the pond, you know what I'm saying, like, it's not.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah, sorry, it's a hard question.
no, I get what you're saying. So do you see the 2 ponds on the south
Yes.
east? Those will be oversized and connected, and so
Trying.
yeah, so we're trying to provide volume for storage and volume for future commercial there, so they don't have to do like underground detention or something like that. And there's so much green space there anyway. It creates a really great natural buffer with the commercial anyway. So we're looking at potentially connecting those ponds or making the 2 ponds that are there bigger so that in the future there'll be,
Essentially creating a small scale regional detention for
yeah,
what's there. I think that's wise to do. I mean, the lots are big enough. You know, you have the 2 acres, and that's not right. 1.7, okay, yeah, 1.4. I mean, there's enough space and potential to do something that, you know, it would obviously get into the usability.
Yeah.
So.
but our goal would be to provide future capacity for stormwater there. And I can provide some of we have some renderings for the commercial that I can provide that'll give you an idea of kind of what we're looking at. I was trying to pull them up, but I don't know if I have to like unplug to do it.
Well, my initial, when I saw the packet come through on Friday, my initial reaction to the layout was I like it, it's different. It's not a grid, not a cookie cutter look. So I like the layout, I like that ideology there. I believe the intent of the highway commercial plays along with what's just been proposed south of there as well, on some other properties. So I think that drives a synergy of what we're, as a community, what we're trying to achieve. So my initial take was, I fundamentally like what has been presented. Now, as terms of what's in the PZD, I need to digest that more. And just now skimming through it as we've talked tonight. I'll echo what Nancy said. At least there's been some considerable thought put into it, which is good. And we've gone down these things together before, so we already kind of know how to work together on these things. So I think getting this emailed out, may I keep this?
Yeah, and I mean,
So I can mark on it and write some more notes and we can collaborate on it.
This one, it's okay.
I didn't, because I wasn't sure if it was mine to keep or not.
No, y'all keep them, and we'll get you everything in a Dropbox or via email, and then get it out to you guys tomorrow, so you can have it.
I presume the highway improvements have been taken into consideration with.
Yes. Yeah, the right-of-way you see there is the future right-of-way, or I guess the current right-of-way for the new.
What's being
Right.
proposed,
Yes,
right?
yes. We started working with the highway department a while ago, like probably over 6 months ago, to make sure that we knew exactly what they were doing and that they knew what we were doing so that there wasn't any future confusion there. So we're pretty confident that we're lined up with their commercial plans. Or their road plans there.
Now, did I hear correctly, some indications you have property to the north of this?
No,
Oh, okay. Sorry?
we're providing connection to the north,
Yes, and to the south.
to the south, yes.
Commissioners, what's your additional input?
Personally, I don't,
Really like.
yeah, personally, I don't. It goes down.
And I'll include in the packet that I send out our commercial renderings, and that way you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at there.
Marvelous. Yes, some elevations or examples would be beneficial.
Reserving the amount of green space that you're dedicating, that's a big deal. That's great.
There's so many amazing mature trees there, like the canopy is just beautiful. It would be hard to take it take it down in general, but we're also, so like our lots that line the creek, you know, one of the reasons that we wanted to push the houses a little bit to the front of the lot was to try to preserve in a tree preservation easement the canopy at the rear of the lots. And those lots do kind of fall off. They're kind of on the edge of a hill, so we could kind of wanted to preserve the backs. We've done that at some other communities where like we have a deed restriction that has a tree preservation easement in the back, so that also stays. But we're still looking at that to see how we can make that fit.
I mean, I like what you said there. I think part of that comes with the topo. I'm looking at this on satellite, but I don't see. There's no topography, no topos identified on this. So.
Yeah, we have a topo survey, so I can provide that. I have a heat map of like a grading heat map, so I can provide that as well. I can't connect to. I'm not connected to the internet, so I can't pull anything up or I would show you. But we have all of that survey. We have a tree survey done, so we can provide all that to you when I send it in, and then that way you can kind of see how it falls off. Our intent would be to not do a mass grading plan, so we'd have a grading, like a road grading plan, and then to do individual lot grading for the lots versus doing like a mass grading plan, because it's awful for the site, it's awful for the trees. And so what we probably end up doing is submitting a detailed lot grading plan for each lot on an overall grading plan, and then have a grading plan specifically for the streets. We've done that in a couple other places, and it just works out. It makes the lot ultimately so much prettier to keep the trees and keep what we can of the topo on it, especially with the deeper lots.
It'll definitely feel unique. I think the payback will be there. It'll elevate the community for sure.
Yeah. I like it. It's different.
And then once y'all get the packet, like all the information, if y'all have any questions, just let us know, and we can address those before our next submittal. Would we come back to another work session, or would we do like a official submittal and then another? How does that?
Do a purchase a little next one.
Okay, gotcha. And we can have preliminary utility and grading plans with our PZD submittal if that helps. We can include that in our submittal, and then you can kind of see where our water and sewer connections are and what our grading is potentially going to look like. And I'll include all of the topo survey, the tree survey, all the work that we've done on it.
But obviously we want to start on the easy one first. We want to do 4 areas of the side at least somewhat close to
There'll be collaboration with council on it. Do their work sessions.
But I mean, there's really not, like, if you're wanting to preserve what's unique about the site, there's really not a lot of ways that you can lay it out. So that was our goal here. And really always. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
discuss the topics on the agenda.
So you just take your pick at this point.
All right, so let's talk about this rezoning at 550 North Main Street. So we've got a parcel on North Main Street, 112, about half an acre, which is a non-conforming A1. Got a single-family home on it, and it's access to the Church of Christ parking lot, or I guess that's the driveway from the Church of Christ, right? Goes in front of the church there, or whatever.
If you pull into their parking lot, there's a driveway that accesses the two single-family homes served essentially off of this driveway that runs parallel to 112.
Okay.
You can vaguely see it north on that, and the pictures are not working out real well right
And we're talking about the house that is the southernmost one. Is that correct?
furthest to their house.
The northernmost.
Yes, northernmost home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Question, we're taking a non-conforming A1 and we want to rezone it to a non-conforming R2? I don't like that.
I agree.
And we've had this discussion, and when I was telling Jason when I made this, staff report, I put R3, and then went back and read the request, and saw that they put R2, and was like,
No.
okay. The only thing that I would say is that, as I was revising this and working through that, R3 does specifically talk about having access to sewer and things like that, and they're on site.
Well, I'd rather do it R3
And-
than let the variance restrict that, because I think that would be bad for them.
That's the way I look at it is,
And I don't have an issue with that, I agree, again, I had made it with R3 in my head, and then had to go back and change it based on their application.
Variances being added if it's R2 versus.
There shouldn't be, because the biggest discussion point with the applicant before this that I had was that under A1, their setbacks are agricultural setbacks, and it hinders what they can do on the property because they're wanting to potentially add on to their garage. And
Yeah, but I had a question, why are they doing this now? They
Yeah.
asked plans.
So they want to adjust their setbacks to a more proper residential zone. The setbacks are the same for R3 or R2. Yeah, I think the only time they might be different would be R1. Honestly, I don't even think they're different there. I still think they're 25.
so they're effectively wanting to
Yep.
take where the concrete pad is there and extend the garage, or they do an attached garage.
My understanding is that where the garage ends on the south side of the property, they're wanting to add on to that and go further south towards that southern property line and convert the existing garage and add like another pull in from different direction, garage. Because currently right now, they drive north, they turn right and head east, and then they turn left towards the garage.
They want to make a vertical?
It's a garage from my understanding. Some of this was discussed with building department before it came to me, but I don't have the building. I don't have the building department.
So the reason I asked part of this question is in the code previously, at one point, may not be the same now. Accessory structure, such as a detached garage, can be,
7
Yeah.
foot on the side, 7.
yeah, but on the back where it's 25, it can be 10. So agriculture's 25 on the sides? Or is it 7?
It's big. That's
It's 15 on the side interior and 35 on the side.
Okay, so it's 15.
Yeah.
Is that the interior? Is this Jason did it?
So, yeah, and R1, R2, and R3 all have the same
Yes.
setbacks, for their sides.
Yeah, I don't have the issue with it, it makes sense. Yes, I agree that R3 would be the correct zoning based on the size of the lot. They are, I mean, it's close, 0.53, you know, it almost meets the requirements for R2, but
Even if you round it up, it only goes to 0.55, so, you know, it's
Yes.
not 1.6.
I agree.
And odds are they just put one of them down. They're just trying to get to the end result of what they're wanting to do.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, to be honest, I don't know if that's South Shores.
It's South Shores, yeah.
That's South Shores, so they won't be taking any land from them to right away. I was just thinking about that, and that popped in my head. So, you know, how much right away would RDOT potentially take from their assets up from them for
Got rounded out.
for Main Street? Well, but they haven't because it's South Shores.
Yeah.
They're not running through it, so they're not. I mean, if the planning commission's determination is R3, then, you know, we can ask them to revise and
That's mine.
request R3.
I think, I agree with Nancy. I think, at a principle, it needs to be its classification, because it's non-conforming. Otherwise, why change the zoning? I got come in for a B to the BZA and ask for a setback adjustment, and just address it that way.
We have enough.
They were all for with the zoning, and I discussed it with them previously. I think we talked about, you know, R3, but, you know, once I got the application and everything turned in, this is what I had on it, so that's what.
Let me play devil's advocate for a moment. What would be the issue with it coming through BZA asking for a variance on their setbacks because it's a non-conforming zone? It's not like they're reconstructing the parcel. They're wanting to put a building addition on, and they're just needing that additional setback
Rather than rezone.
rezoning. What would be the detriment or the benefit of going that route versus rezoning?
Because they have something else in mind, not just the garage expansion.
Well, I don't know that there would be a detriment other than the fact that, you know, to rezone it, you know, that you have set standards by right, and you know what they are. You know, a BZA, if that was the, you know, choice that the city wanted to have them go through, you know, from a property owner standpoint, you know, you might just get your southern side setbacks reduced to 7 feet, and, you know, it's still non-conforming agricultural, and the rest of your setbacks are still set at agriculture, which are not conforming to rural properties anyway, so. I think rezoning is, you know, based on the size and is appropriate, and was the right call from my own standpoint.
I don't disagree, I just question.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, there was,
Would make it easier.
you know, this was a very open conversation with them, you know, no issues, you know, just them wanting to find the best route. And they brought up rezoning. They're like, well, you know, our setbacks, you know, we really didn't want to get into those, and we really just think rezoning it to a more appropriate zone would be the best move for us. So, I think you're probably right. You know, it gives you a little bit of consistency for, you know, what you're doing. And again, I mean, you know, they have a small lot and they have septic on their lot somewhere. And I'm assuming it's all in the front, and their house is set pretty far back on the lot anyway, so what they can do on their lot is going to be pretty minimal to begin with. I don't think they're ever going to potentially put an accessory structure on that property of note, of noteworthy, maybe a small portable shed. But they're not gonna put something that they're gonna be able to like drive through the front yard to, and they're not gonna be able to pull around to the back, and the house is set pretty far in the back. So,
Now, because if it's R3, back to that comment about sewer connection, no septic, would it need to have a variance granted or some type, would that need to be?
I don't think it's
addressed?
warranted where they would need a variance. I mean, they would be non-conforming for rezoning anyways, and honestly, when we went through and did the zoning map, we probably created some of those zoning based on appropriate lot size, and didn't realize that there's some that, we left them alone, and they're not meeting the lot size requirements.
Right.
I just think it's bad business on our part to zone something to where it's non-conforming from jump. I can't do that.
Okay. So R3. Then, let's talk about Ashley Circle. We've got 2 lots, 600 and 602 Ashley Circle. So we've got, this is in Nevada. Now it seems to be that at one point the property owners threw up a fence, and that's where the fence has resided for a number of years. And whether it be under realization that, hey, you got my yard, and
Somebody new bought it and had a survey.
so I guess fundamentally, from what I see on here, not really that big a deal.
I haven't found any issues with it. You can vaguely see where the fence is and the lot line on the ortho map exhibit. You can see the small thin blue line running up, and you can see where their fence is located in that V, between the 2 lots.
Yeah.
Then if you flip to the back page, I blew up their survey, and I have a paper copy, if you want to see the full survey, but I just blew up that one section, so we can look at it a little weird. But, it appears to be essentially just following that fence.
And it looks like it might have been one of those situations. There's a transformer in the corner of the 600.
Yes, so there is a transformer back there that it looks like maybe the other houses is built first.
Yeah.
They boxed around it.
Yep.
With their, like a little triangle kind of thing from each side. And then the property owner on the east, if they're the ones that potentially go in and build their.
They just drew from the corner post.
Yes.
And then. So they lost that wedge. I mean, I guess, guys, from my perspective, this is, as long as both property owners are in agreement.
Yeah, it seems like a reasonable solution for them.
At least the main reasonable.
Yeah, as long as both property owners are in agreement, not one's trying to sneak it from the other one.
Right.
Do we know if they left our?
Well, I believe the survey was from the ones that are losing the property, like the initial applicants, the casters, that's what we were working with. But I mean, it will have to be both of them anyway. Inside.
I know we did something similar with our lot, with our neighbor. We went together and an attorney drew up. And then that, I think, was submitted here.
So just as long as we've got certainty that both parties are in agreement.
I have not spoken, with property owners, and everything been working with the caster as far as that goes.
Well, That's the other thing.
But they do have two separate owner dedication blocks with two separate owner signatures, so there's, you know, owner certification block for one parcel, owner certification block for the other one. So, and that, I expect it to work out.
Okay. Yeah, concerns from that one? Alright, so let's go back to the Hayden Revocable Trusts for a variance for 10192 South Morningstar Road. So, David, wasn't this not too long ago? We did a adjustment on this property, right?
So we did a track split.
Track split.
The southern portion of that property, south of the existing chicken house, was being split off along kind of an L-shaped split. You know, what was conveyed to us is that they were, you know, potentially selling to the property owners to the east and behind their property. During that, I think the only thing we really requested or had from the staff standpoint was dedication of the right of way. The right of way for that is an arterial and it's 90 feet. After the survey and everything was done, and it went through planning and got approval, the owner and or realtor apparently was looking at it and did not want that. Apparently the surveyor did not convey those requests and those items to them when we were in the middle of that. So they are requesting a variance because it does go through the front porch of the house. So there is a legitimate reason. I don't personally necessarily have an issue with that. But it goes almost directly up to the front porch. And I say to the front porch, they don't have a very big front porch. It's not like it's a big grand big front porch. It's probably within 2 feet of the house. So they're requesting variance of that. They have not. I wish that anybody that was here, they should have been here and they were well aware of this meeting, them and the Nevaeh statesman. No. But they did not. There's been no discussion, I guess, as far as how much. So I mean, I think that's what we need to discuss and decide on.
I believe this is the hard.
I drove out there and put the sign up last week, and it is very close to the road compared to everything else out there.
And there's a barn behind it.
Yes, yeah, I mean, there's multiple structures, but there is a shop barn close to the house. But the collector right of way, would be 70 feet. And so that would essentially get them a 10-foot less on their side. You know, go down from what, 45 to 35.
What is Morningstar currently on the master street plan?
It was arterial, 90 feet. That's why we requested this.
So it needs to meet that. I was just thinking about this. Because if that house comes down, then we don't want this job.
Yeah.
because of this one home.
Plus, the other part to the south was to be,
Thought it was to connect to another.
connect to a development potentially.
Right.
I think we would definitely want it to be built out accordingly and have space for a trail on the side potentially.
Right.
Or something along those lines.
So the 90-foot wide goes through the front porch.
90 foot wide goes within a couple of feet of the front door, the front porch, right? Yes. And when, you know, I requested that, we had that discussion, I didn't have any pushback, I'm thinking, there's some of the soft developers that would probably not be worried about it, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Yeah, that has to be out there.
you know, no big deal, that's kind of, that was my thought process, you know. But the owner of the property is in a facility,
Yes.
assisted facility, and this is being done by her family. I don't think they're wanting necessarily to get rid of the house and bring it in there. I think
This
this
one.
one lives there.
Right.
So I think they were wanting to sell what they could, help with, you know, the monetary part of the parent, you know, in the facility.
So my question is there a way that this could be done where it's reduced if the structure currently exists? But if that structure came down,
That's good.
I don't know, but what I don't want to do is give a variance.
I know, I know.
That's just a blanket.
That's right.
Yeah.
But have it more conditional as long as the structure remains, it could be narrow. But on the flip side, would that, let me just ask this question, is if it's on there, that section of road is not gonna be improved unless there's some type of improvement, development on that property.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
I like what you said though, 'cause I think that covers us. That would be when it gets to the front of the page, house will probably go down anyway, so
Social media, we ran a road right 2 feet off of somebody's porch that existed in Baker City.
Sorry.
Like if they stay, that house remains.
It remained.
And we don't find a compromise for it. When that is really bad PR, that we.
Well, the question is when would that road be improved right there? Because if that parcel stays unchanged, then the road isn't fundamentally gonna be improved.
Well, like everything else on this house.
That's the, so, and more than likely, well, it sells, but the structure, if it's conveyed, and they don't change the lot, I'm not building it, I'm not doing it,
Maybe it only stays
then,
for ownership.
well, no, even if it conveys to someone else, but they don't develop it, they just move into the house, then the street doesn't improve. It's, the trigger is, I'm gonna build a subdivision. That's
Or
where
is
it's,
it, or can we do a trigger that it's in the property ownership change?
well, again, I don't think ownership change is not the trigger, because if that was my home and I sold it to you, you wanted to live there, then there is no change to the property, just change names. We haven't developed it, and we haven't done anything that's triggered that subdivision.
But that's a trigger of a change.
No,
Now, I own it.
no, that's just change of property. I haven't done anything different with the property. I'm still using it in the same
And
manner.
you're saying maybe that's,
Yeah, because what's gonna trigger the street improvement is to change that into a subdivision, development into a subdivision.
It's there.
So unless I develop that property, there wouldn't be any road improvements.
But is the property immediately to the south of that something that's gonna develop? Because.
Potentially.
Well, but that's,
Well, it's.
No.
States.
not necessarily. There's 2 estate lots to the south of that. It's not the furthest south of those groups. there's 2 estate lots, then you get to where they're working
We're
on
gonna-
the development.
Yeah, so we can't force them to go all the way up.
Yes.
No,
It's a nice thought.
if those are to the north, to estates, no.
No, they're to the
It's
south.
south. There's the property.
Oh, I'm looking at, oh, I was looking at this property right here. I was on, because that one's close to the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm on the wrong side. Okay, I got you. Now, okay. And of course, when I ask the questions, there are barns beside it, there's barns.
There's more beside everything else. Yes. I was just thinking, well, you're not on one of the estate lots, so yes.
No, but.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we're not really, even if that's on the plat, the structure's there, nothing's gonna change unless that property is developed.
Right.
The only,
Now, in theory, even if we do less than setbacks and property order development, someone's gonna come in and split it, then we would have to dedicate the next 10 feet.
well, I was thinking the only way that street would be improved outside of the normal development side of things would be if the city said, we are gonna go widen and improve that.
We would have to go, the way that land that has been split up already, the city would have to do some significant.
Because it would be weird if they went in there and just did that, and then you've got this, these are newer homes.
Yeah, you have to the north and south is estate homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have,
No, they don't have the right of way because those are all prior
I think
to.
all that was done when it was in county before Rob was.
Right.
Those have been out there 15
are they really?
years, some of them, you know.
It looks pretty new from here, but.
Some are.
Some of them are within the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I think the Haynes have split off some of their stuff to the house, further ago, but the stuff to the north is more recent. And unfortunately, all along Morningstar, this has been going on. I mean, to the north of this, you know, everywhere. And it's just occurring more and more traffic. I used to drive it almost daily. Or in a previous job, you know.
Oh, that was the one.
This one, well, now, instead of taking one bump and this other thing, we'll take another thing.
They
and
just
this
didn't
one
show
bump.
on this one. Didn't show on this one. This is it.
Did the county
Yes, that was.
go in and pay everything after it takes long? Well, okay, fine. Everything up to Roberts or whatever all that is paid.
The county, like last year, while we were paving Pace Lane,
Yeah.
the county judge told me later, because I had people calling and talking about it was great that you got the county to do that. And the county judge, I talked to him and he said that they had asphalt left over at the end of the year. And since we were paving Pace Lane, he felt like that was the perfect place for it. And so
I
they
bet that table bond and everything.
yeah, but he did all of Roberts and then turned and went out Phillips Cemetery to Morningstar. Yeah.
No,
See it, and this is. the
I have not, I've driven,
So it just depends on the time of year.
it's all days, like I went up there, but I think that was the first time I drove all the way to Morningstar.
You can see where it travels.
I went up there right after I heard they had finished paving, but hadn't cleaned everything up and done the shoulders. And when I got to the end, I'm like, what is this? And they had one lane paved
That's not.
that went past it and had
I think it's, I think it's just.
binder course down on the other lane. And I'm like, where did this come from?
That's exactly what I felt like when I was wondering, did Austin, just like, did they already, I was thinking like, are they ahead of the curve? Did they not tell me that they already got the county and like paid this? You know, I'm just like,
Now, the county did it because they knew we were doing things.
direction, I love it.
Because this is already,
Yeah, that's.
So you're not. Yeah.
all right, so what do you wanna tell
Well, they didn't make a specific request.
them? True.
They need to be more specific and probably no.
Well, very close.
What are you asking for?
Well, they're asking to to lessen the setbacks, and if we don't go back with something, they're gonna think they're gonna be able to have it all locked out. I mean, we need to
Just tell them
I don't,
give me some guidance.
I don't want to
I think
give-
at least we can say,
I don't wanna give it up.
I
they
And
give up any right away.
mean, I kind of already got it from them.
Yeah.
I think they just need to go back and get their money back on their survey.
there you go, I like that one.
I agree, I do not like this.
This is
I will
rough.
say like it is, it will make it hard to
I'm
sell.
sorry.
The way it is, it'll make it hard to ever sell. With it, no one's gonna buy that with the right of way going through the porch.
Whoever buys it is gonna tear down the house in the porch.
If they were to tear it down, that's fine, but, if they don't buy it with the intent of tearing it down, they'll never buy it. If that's going through the porch.
They're not gonna live in that house.
No, they're not gonna rock on the road with that house. I agree. That was kind of why I wasn't concerned with it initially.
It's such small acreage, is the developer really gonna buy that?
That's not.
Once sewer gets up there, if we let them, well, the idea is we'll be splitting it all, so I mean, they're,
Yeah, we.
I wonder what it is. I wanna say there's 5. And it's got an awkward shape to it now. With the,
After the split.
kind of the L.
Yeah, it's an L shape taking off there.
I mean, do we want, I don't know the legalities of trying to put a condition on it. We probably need to talk. Yeah, we'll have to ask Justin about that. So, if we can, I'll have that discussion, but if not, I think we have a couple of options, which one is to lessen it to the collector, which would be lessening, giving them 10 feet. That would put it 12 to 15 foot off of the front porch. And then the other option is come up with a random number to get them beyond the collector amount. Because I don't want to just split it away. Yeah.
I like Jason's suggestion of, as long as it stays the way it is, they can have this amount, but then should it ever be torn down, then it.
I agree, I think it's a good suggestion, I just don't know if we can do that. That's why I like to see what Justin and.
Well, the law should be.
I don't know, it will be difficult to,
We're trying to help these people.
you will be creating a headache on whatever staff member is here to keep up with it. Just throwing that out there, But I don't think it's a bad idea, and if someone could ever hunt that down.
And not be put on the plat.
We do the properties to be like medical records, and you type in the address, you're like, okay, this is the status of this property. These are the problems, this is what has to happen.
But
Looks like it's got some dead trees on it, don't they?
They're come down, they're gonna have to come back to us anyway.
Yeah, they will. And then we'll be like, oh, look, you don't have that amount of right away. But wait, we got it one time and we gave it back to you, why would we do that?
Well, they haven't filed this yet, we started this discussion. I will say, they started this discussion much sooner after we had this. They have drug their feet between all parties that are involved, getting this variance. And it took the realtor really kind of hammering down on it to get everybody to do it.
Well, and it's so big. It's,
Okay.
So I will get with the applicant and let them know that we're not in favor of closing the entirety of this right of way. And that if they have something else they would like to propose for a certain amount and put it, the ball back in their court,
Yes.
see what they come up with.
yeah.
And then otherwise, and then also at the same time, I will get with Justin and discuss that. Again, I'm not certain how that would function. But the default last ditch effort to me looks at it being a collector line. Now,
You want to read
That being said-
street plan?
we can make it a little bit more confusing, and we can do 90 where they split that off where there's no house. And then just where the house is staying, it goes down to 35. Or whatever they're requesting. I'm just saying, we can make it a little bit more confusing.
Well,
That would at least get us the arterial with where they are for sure potentially going to develop.
well, that's what, we want that
Yes.
for certain.
That to me is important. Short of me throwing a really horrible conversation that I don't want to have about whether we think that that needs to be in our area or something.
What's the odds that you think north and south will ever really be developed in the next 10 years with those other homes?
Oh, the next south, probably not, because it's already existing homes there.
Well, you know, I wouldn't thought that until that piece of property on Shores just behind, Allen's Mill has been sold and is going to be dumped into a subdivision. It's a beautiful piece of property, we love the single family home. So if they don't all stay.
Well, you said how many years? In the next how many
Next
years?
10 years.
10 years?
Because I think it would look really weird just to have in front
Well,
of
it
that
would.
house.
I would say it definitely couldn't happen in the next 5 years because there's also no sewer. So, we're also, if you want to get real deep into it, we don't have utilities there in 5 years. Most likely not. 10 years, maybe. So we're still probably looking at this. But I also did a lot count for one of our council members that's working at the post office over a little bit, and he was curious about how many existing subdivision lots that, we have been developed. And then I also gave him a count of all the potential subdivision lots that we have not, that are in some form of development, either they're Osage Meadows and their construction, or they're Ford Meadows, and we're working on zoning entitlement. And there was like 6 or 7 of them, and the number of lots that they came up with, 933. So we have 933 lots that we have either in some form of approval or review currently. That doesn't include Hillcrest. Hillcrest is, building homes, so like they were in the already developed phase. That was Ozark, or Osage Meadows, Citadel 4, Trillium, Fox, whatever, Ford Meadows, the others, 933 lots. And I kind of did the math, it's like, well, if you do the average, probably close to paying people per home to 2.75, that is just over 2,500 additional people.
then there's the one tonight, is that involved?
The what?
The 57 tonight, is that included?
No, I did not include this one. This was, they haven't actually submitted anything, and I started working on that before they asked me on planning commission on Thursday, and I told them no. And then they came back and asked me, and I said, maybe. And then they actually sent me what they were talking about, and I said, oh, I've discussed this already. Okay, I'll let y'all know.
Well, theirs is more unique. What I hope we don't do is something more like Centerton, where it explodes, overdevelops.
Are we done?
Yeah, we can turn it off.
Chief? Yeah. Done.